this room.
You know where before we get started, you know where the auditors are with the final audit?
They will probably be here tomorrow or Wednesday. They're supposed to come in today. They've come one time so far, and they're supposed to come back tomorrow the next time. They think that they can wrap it up pretty quickly, so.
Will you let me know if they come, because I want to talk to them? Just
All right, I got 9 o'clock. I'd like to call everyone's attention. I'd like to call to order the regular December 7th meeting of the Treutlen County Board of County Commissioners. Appreciate everyone for taking that time to come participate today as we conduct the business of the county. With that, I would like to ask Commissioner Mullis to lead us in invocation.
Yes. Heavenly Father, we come to you this hour, asking for blessings and help as we gather together. We pray for guidance in the matters at hand. Ask that you clearly show us how to conduct our work with a spirit of joy and enthusiasm. Give us desire to find ways to excel in our work with a sense of community. Please protect our citizens and families from this virus. And in God's name we pray. Amen.
All right, everybody stand. EMA Director Joshua, please lead us for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, sir. Okay, first order of business before the board will be the approvals of the minutes of the November 2nd, 2020 regular meeting. We received these by email from our clerk Thursday for the board to review. If everything looks in order, I open the floor for a motion of approval.
We make a motion to approve the minutes of last.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Not all in favor, vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we're transferring to the public comments portion of our agenda. Ms. Samantha Gay has requested to address the board. Ms. Gay, the board will hear from you at this time.
let me stand up or?
Whatever makes you feel comfortable. You can stand, take the podium, or you can. That'd be great.
I just had a good thing about the dumpsters. I know it's brought up in February. And so I just had some more questions and concerns as well.
Okay.
So one of the biggest things was we're already paying taxes for our current system. And so then we would have to, in turn, from my understanding, pay an additional fee for the dumpsters at the house. Is that correct?
At this time, nothing has been written in stone. The board is trying to fill out all its possibilities to provide the best service it can to the county, but nothing has been wrote down on which way we're going yet.
Okay. And like, how would that be decided? Would it be up to the public to vote, or would it just be y'all?
The end decision over trash service to the county is up to the decision of this board.
Okay. And as far as like recommendations, I mean, so, which my grandpa drives a trash truck. I mean, everybody knows that. He's been doing it almost 19 years. And that would, I know that y'all have said that he could have a different job. But as far as I know, nobody's asked him, does he want a different job? Nobody's asked him the current problems with the current system. Because he could tell He can tell you the problems are people are going through the dumpsters and they're throwing the trash out all over the ground. They're not putting it back in the dumpsters. And a lot of that could be cut down with just cameras, and not cameras that are this high off the ground, but cameras that are up or a fenced-in area where we have certain hours that they can do. But I can't see how the solution would be that the citizens have to pay more money. We're already paying taxes, and then in turn we'll have to pay more for a dumpster fee. I just don't want to do that. I mean, I work for my money, and I don't want to pay $20 extra a month for a dumpster to sit in my yard that I don't even want. So, that was just some of my concerns. We currently have 10 dumpster sites, with over 100 dumpsters in the county. And so I would propose maybe we start with 5 and just get cameras at them. And then in turn write tickets for people who are littering or outside of the county and they're dumping in the county. And that would increase revenue to be able to afford a new trash truck. The one now, I think it's around 7 years old. They recommend they be replaced every 5 to 6 years because of the miles. You have not only forward miles, but backward miles, because it's a lot of forward and back in, it's a lot of dumping and different things. So it's a lot of wear and tear on it. And so, I mean, it is getting older. But that's just some of my biggest concerns is, Papa's lived in the county for over 50 years. He's worked for the county, 19. And I just think we should take care of our own citizens. So, like I said, I don't want to outsource it to somebody else that's outside of the community. I just don't think that's right as a community. I think we should take care of ourselves and create jobs within our own county. Kind of see about that ourselves instead of, getting somebody else to do it. I don't see the benefits in that. That's all I have. So thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Can I say something? Now, when we talked about this in February, didn't we say we're going to do some town hall meetings or something before we make a decision on that?
We did.
Okay.
Alrighty. Appreciate your time, appreciate the board taking all that in. And like I said, we have not wrote down anything in stone of what we're going to do as of yet. The board is fully aware of what you brought forward. And there's a lot of things that's on top of that also that we have to look at. And ultimately, I think the board has a right to be fiduciary with the citizens of the county's tax monies, and I feel like at the end the board will make the best decision going forward. We appreciate your time.
Okay, last month it was said, it was mentioned that I was to maybe suggested that I talked to some people. Do you want me to make that report about what I've learned about dumpsters now? Trash or something?
That would be fine. While we're on the subject, you have the floor.
Okay, I've talked to several people from different counties, and I talked to somebody here in Treutlen County, because it's like with the city, they were doing a private pickup or something, and somebody told me that they had gone back to the city doing it themselves. I talked to somebody from the city, and they're saying that it's cheaper for the city to do their collection. So they've got their own truck, and that's what they're doing. Now, I also talked to somebody, and they're saying insurance premium taxes, that money that we get back every year is supposed to be used for solid waste, but it's actually 5 things it can be used for, but we only offer 2 of the services that it can be used for, and that's solid waste and fire protection. And I went back and I asked for a 5-year thing
this morning.
It is?
Yes,
I didn't check my email this morning. But anyway, my understanding of the amount that we got this year was $260,000. So over a 5-year period is $1,137,793. And I know that I've been a commissioner for 2 years. And I know we have not spent that money. Because actually we spent very little money, unless there's something out there I don't know about. Because fire department hadn't asked for much. I don't think they've asked for anything this year that I know of. And as far as the dumpsters and the trash collection, we bought a truck this year for something. And to me, we got this money that we're supposed to be using for solid waste. Should have about $1 million there. Look like we can do something ourselves and it not cost the citizens anything. Because we could buy a trash truck. If you want to do curbside, we should be able to buy a trash truck if we got this much money. And it's my understanding that money can't be spent for anything else. I talked to another person from Toombs County who's worked on the private pickup as well as for the county. And this guy recommends or talked about the main sites or either, let me see what he called them, regulated time sites. And that's where you fence the area in and you open it up for certain hours of the day. And he said, recommend that you put cameras there in order to capture the people that either go there after hours and maybe dump on the outside or whatever and other good about it. So those are some things we can consider and not even have to bring somebody in from outside of the collection. Which this board, ever since I've been on the board, I know the chair has said keep money in the county if you can. So actually, from my little research, I don't see where the citizens would have to pay for any of it. Other than, if you get that much money back from the state for
I thought that's what we actually discussed about, keeping the money here. There was we talked before that they said just roundabout was $20. That's what the city charges. And our intent was not to have any costs incurred by the citizens.
Yeah.
And if we could actually
I
store everything.
I want to address what was just said, and I think I can clear some of these questions up that you may have. The city, I have done some research, the city, I think it is a revenue builder for the city, but the city also charges for each individual can, and, it has become what I understand is a moneymaker for the city. I'm not trying to get in their model of what they're doing that's good for them. I'm trying to look at what's best for the county constituents. Not saying I don't care about the city, I'm just saying I'm really focused on what we're concerned with here. As far as the insurance premium, the way that works, we do get that money then from the insurance premiums, and it adds up to, I think it's like $230,000 a year. I don't know, I didn't see the number somewhere in there. But the way that works is we do get that, but we pay for it. We have to declare when we do our budgets and when we set our millage rate. When we did that 2 months ago, we have to declare through with Miss Donna's office of what those monies are used for, and we have been using those monies for us. That's how we fund our sanitation and put it towards fire protection. It doesn't just come in, hey, you get this insurance money. We run to go through the general fund, and this money is deposited back into the general fund.
Yeah,
So this money, this insurance premium money, is basically, if you can imagine, you had this what we've been using our sanitation with. This county's never in the past, they've wrote down stuff and budgeted stuff, but they never really broke down what was there, as for example, like the fuel that different vehicles use. All the diesel fuel went to the road department. Well, we went back this year, and Josh has helped me go through some numbers, and we discovered that there's essentially over $10,000 a year that's not budgeted to our sanitation that goes to our road departments. We're working at pulling all those measures out as far as figuring out what our cost is. And until you figure out exactly what your cost is, I don't think you can make an educated assumption on what's best going forward until you figure out what everything's costing you. You know, with what we're paying now, with everything added up and these new costs, basically we could take, and and I don't know this until we put this out there, but we could pay for everybody to have a can of what we're at the point we could do two things. We could roll back the sanitation cost and decrease our millage rate, and that taxation will not be on the taxpayers. And then we can charge, if we were to go to the curb service, I'm not saying that's what we're doing, I'm just saying this is a scenario. If we go to the curbside service, we can roll back the taxation to the taxpayers and then charge for the cans. The only problem is if you do that, then we're sitting here with this insurance premium money, like you said, it has to be spent in the unincorporated areas of the county. And that we don't have another service other than our fire department that we offer in the unincorporated areas. So, you know, to keep that clean and legitimate, to keep those funds coming in, once we hadn't even put a bid out to see what it costs us. I hear $20 floated around, but we don't know that. We have not, you know, put this out to see exactly what the cost is. I do know we've tried the camera route, and I think that it didn't get us anywhere real quick. And there's different ways to, like the young lady addressed the board, there's different ways to go through this camera route. But at the end of the day, all this is a cost. We do have 10 sites or so. I feel like that's too many. And I think we're too available to pass for throwers, you know, and that brings in a lot more of your scavenging and out of county dumping that we're paying for somebody else's trash to go away. And if you think about it with this other deal, I mean, you cut that out. No one's digging through no trash cans, and no out of county guys gonna come put trash at the can at the end of your road. We have people full time that goes around and just cleans up around these cans. We bought the truck, the boom truck, and it's for, you know, we use it for cleaning around the cans, but if we did go the other route, if we tried a curbside service, we would still utilize that truck because we would keep the recycle yard open. You would have to. And, but if you go back to the trash sites, you know, we can't, where most of our sites are now, if we decided, hey, we want to put a fence around it and lock it up, it's not even sitting on county property where we can invest in these sites. I mean, then you're faced with going to your constituents. And everybody wants the convenience of a can close, but nobody wants it on their place. So then, you know, we're forced with trying to buy something. And right now, our budget for just the recycle yard is right at $50,000 a year. So then you multiply that by 5, essentially what you're going to do if you man a site. So you're going to have that investment on top of the regular trash. And yes, these trash trucks don't last forever. They bought one with the last splash, and those trash trucks were $400,000. So you got to factor all that in too. At the end of the day, you know, what am I going to do to help my taxpayer? And Mr. Bobby, you know, I know he drives a truck. We've been fortunate to have him, but you know, I know y'all's family all my life think the world of y'all, think the world of him, but you got to look bigger than one person. You got to look at the whole county. You know, Mr. Bobby is getting on up. Where are we going to be at 6-8 years from now? You know, Mr. Bobby can't drive a truck forever. I wish he could. You know, I pray that he can. But, you know, something's got to be decided by this board. And before we can make a complete decision, we know what we're doing now is costing us. But until we put the other out for bid to at least entertain what our cost is, we can't really make a decision on what's best for the taxpayers of Treutlen County. Now, which way we're gonna go, it's gonna be to roll back the taxes and charge for a can. You know, I don't think that's gonna be, as much as I believe in capitalism and free market, I think that would be the best and fairest way, but the way our hands is tied and having to spend some of these state mandated funds, you know, that kind of takes that out of the equation for us. So there you're sitting there with, you know, there's not going to be just a wash. What we're paying now, instead of having cans, and the problem with having the cans, potentially, if we bid this thing and it comes back right, we could essentially just put a can in everybody's yard, keep our recycling yard open for the big things, and go forward trying to do something different. So I appreciate you coming, and it opened the door for us for a great discussion that we have to have. And I think before we can go forward and really decide, you know, that we need to sit down and put a bid out to see what the curbside is going to end up costing us, and who would be interested in it, and what the options are before we can go forward and decide anything. And once we have those numbers and have it laid out before the board, at that point, I think we can make an informed decision. And this time, I'd like to turn it over to County Attorney Tom. Mr. Tom, kind of what I've just spelled out with the insurance premiums and why we have to spend that money in the rural areas. I mean, it's going to be hard getting around that, correct?
Well, if the county wants to get out of the trash collection business, meaning you're not going to operate the sites, and you're not going to provide trash service to the county, we will have to do a rollback of taxes, because you're collecting $250 a year in insurance premium credits. One of the things Lance has explored at, and last week I met with the trash company, is perhaps the idea of getting rollback trash containers for every household in the state, in the county, paid for by the county. And at the moment, we don't know if the numbers will work where we can substitute the dump sites for individual trash containers, home roll-up sites, without a tax increase. But we're exploring that right now. Is that correct, Glenn?
Yes.
It's one thing about the curbside, even if we go that way, you're gonna still have bulk, and people don't even go out to the recycling right now. Because they dump it down here on Cedar Road.
People are always going to do whatever's easiest for them. And it's easier just to dump it than to take it to a recycling center.
But if those cans aren't there, potentially we like to think that people would do the right thing and take it to the recycling yard.
It's also a lot easier for Montgomery County, Lawrence County, and Wheeler County people to bring their trash to our dumpsters at the moment than to take it to their convenience centers.
Because there's no consequences. They pull up to a dumpster and they just dump it because there's no cameras, there's no fence, there's no tenants.
But the cameras and the fences are not solutions in and of themselves. And if you're going to have cameras, you're going to have camera maintenance. You're going to have someone looking at the camera. You're going to have someone enforcing all that. This board has tried that over the years. It's never worked out very well for them.
I believe that it was like a game camera where it just like took the pictures and stored it on itself and sat there, like where you could easily reach it. But there's technology that you can do Wi-Fi or whatever.
We've tried all that.
You know, there's Wi-Fi to the sheriff's office where there's somebody there that can monitor them. There's somebody who's monitoring the dumpsters at the site. He's sitting there, like the Wi-Fi there. I mean, there's different options other than a trash can in my yard that I don't want. I mean, if it's free and it costs nothing, I still don't want it. I don't want a dumpster in my yard that only gets picked up once a week. I go through way more trash than that in a week. So.
All right, I think, you know,
Let me ask you a question though, if you don't mind.
yes ma'am, go ahead.
Like how many sites do you have? Because in order to do the man sites, we need 1 acre lots. So do we have any sites that the county owns that's an acre?
No.
Probably.
Well, out of the airport would be the only place.
I think that were maybe the one out there on 298.
Yeah, that ain't no acre though.
That might be a half, maybe.
Yeah. Listen, here's where we're at. And I think, it's hard to make an informed decision to get everything. This time, I'm gonna advise the board to let's just at least put out a bid just to see where we're at and what we're looking at, and tell them to sit down, write up a bid proposal, and let's advertise the bid proposal for the curbside service, and that will give us time to get that in, see exactly where we're at, and what would be the best decision for the board going forward.
But that makes sense, we don't have a company in Treutlen County that does that, do we? And they get it in the forms to keep the money in the county, right?
Well, let's put it this way then. Let's also entertain the idea of seeing what it would cost to purchase.
What the point is do the best we can for the taxpayers of Treutlen County. If there's not a service in Treutlen County, I can't help that we're not no one in the county is in the trash business. Maybe, let me, if someone wants to get in the trash business and bid for it, they'd be more than glad to hear their bid and consider their bid. But I still, regardless where it comes from, we need to get some figures in on what a curbside service would cost. And I think this board is ready at least to entertain the numbers of it, whether we decide to go for it or not. And until we find out exactly what that's going to cost compared to what we know what's cost, we can't make a decision. So I'm just asking the board, let's go forth, let's get a bid and consider it.
Yeah, because after that point, if we see that it's gonna cost way much more than we're willing to offer, from that same direction we've actually put out the bid for, we can see what it costs to get trash cans and the county to purchase them.
We may look at that number and say, no, we can do it ourselves.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. We have to know what it costs first. So in that same breath, when we actually get bids, what do the trash cans cost? What's a new trash truck gonna cost? It's little things like that. So I think we just need, like I said, need to figure out where we're going, what it's gonna cost. And once we get the numbers out in front of us, we can say, okay, here's what we have allocated, what the state gives us. Can we actually do that efficiently and economically within the constraints of the funds we have now? So that's my take. Basically the same thing you said there.
I'd like to say this, Ms. Getty, also, if you look back on my Facebook page, it might not have been the correct thing to do, but last week I took some pictures and put it up on Facebook, asking for input on different things, what might help our community. I'm here to tell you right now, I have not made a decision. I'm looking at all angles, all calls, all options. But what we can do to help our citizens and eliminate these problems.
And another thing I don't know if everybody's considered is the road repair that would be needed for these tons of trucks are huge. They're really big. They go down all these small county roads. And so there's wear and tear on the roads as well. That would eventually add up the dirt roads, how are they going to get down the dirt roads whenever there's a big flood? It rained really bad last year. What's going to happen to those citizens who we have nowhere for them to dump it because we've shut down all of our sites? What are they going to do? They're just going to accrue trash in their yard because these trucks can't make it down there. So that's another thing is it may save us money now, but in the long run with the wear and tear on the roads, that can end up costing taxpayers more money as well, just to repair roads.
We got a great road department, and they stay on our roads pretty good. And if the school bus can go down these roads, the trash truck can. So,
But no one has made a decision.
no one's making sure. We're just trying to get the information
Yeah,
in.
we're just getting information. We have a workshop today after this meeting. And then, like we said, we're looking at all the numbers right now. So no one has made a decision right now.
I think to the workshop, I think we need a motion to get a price on these curbside cans and then come back and have, once we get those numbers,
You gonna advertise for
yes.
bids or something?
Ma'am?
You gonna advertise
If-
for bids, right?
If you want to find out what it really costs, we need to send what's called a request for proposals out to different trash companies with,
We gotta put it on the state website, procurement.
just like we did with the ambulance service, it's probably a 60 to 90 day process.
I'm good with our attorney advice.
So I got a motion to advertise for trash service, curbside pickup.
I'll make a motion that we, advertise.
And it's only a request for proposals.
Right.
You're not contracting.
Do I have a second?
I see.
Any further discussion? All in favor, vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right, appreciate your participation. Next order of business before the board is the proposed phone system for the annex, and I believe our clerk, Miss Angie Hooks, has information on this.
Right now, our office has our telephone system. Everything's still running through Plant Tel, but Plant Systems, who does our IT stuff with our computers and everything, they set up our phone system, which works really well. The annex they're still with the old system that when the bank was open. Plant Tel cannot come in, they're under no contracts with them because the system is so old. Plant Tel can't come in there and repair their phones without it costing an arm and a leg. And so, Thomas, with our IT company, was supposed to send me a proposal. He hasn't yet. When he does, I'll get it to y'all. I thought he was going to have it to me by Friday morning. Just to kind of give us an idea of what it will cost. When he does, I'll send that out to y'all, and maybe we can discuss that at the next meeting. But right now, all of their phone calls are going to one office over there. If you call the tax commissioner's office, it's going to the tax assessor's office. If you call TJ's office, it's going to the tax assessor's office. So they're having to do all this running back and forth just to be able to talk on the telephone. Or either they're calling us and we're having to give out their cell phone numbers and things like that. So, Plant Tel has been kind of trying to help them out, work on it and everything, but I just wanted to kind of let y'all know what's going on and maybe we can have something y'all can look at next time. And I don't know if the courthouse is interested. They don't really have as many problems as the annex does. There's only really a couple of offices over there, but we can kind of see, if they're interested in it, and maybe Clintus can give us a quote on that as well.
So you're getting the quotes up?
I'll get them up.
All right. Next order of business for the board will be the Christmas bonus pertaining to the employees. We have to every year approve the bonus amounts that are gave out to our employees. Ms. Angie, can you give us a rundown of how it currently in the past is shaped out?
Last year, we gave full-time employees $200 and part-time $100.
So we need a motion to approve this expenditure again or something different if needed.
I make a motion to approve the bonuses for the county employees, full-time and part-time,
For the amounts that we did last year.
for the amounts we did last year.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right, I do know that we were supposed to have a elderly workshop after the meeting also, but we had Mr. Brantley come down. We got everything in the packet on some roads that we're looking at resurfacing. Mr. Brantley got a hold with Mr. Terry, and they have come up with a proposed 2021 LMIG fund status here of spending our allocations for the next year. Mr. Dale, would you like to take the podium and run down this?
Sure. Board, appreciate y'all having me in today, and what you've got in front of you is a little status report that I put together based on, at the top of it, as I always do, I went to GDOT's website and pulled up what your 2021 LBIG allocation formula is going to be. As you know, GDOT allocates you so much funds every year based on roadway center line miles and population and all those kind of things. I will tell you, due to the current funding, that actually this year was a reduction. Every county has seen a 3 to 4 year continuous increase in their allocation. This will probably be your smallest allocation you've seen in those 3 or 4 years, but it was reduced. I think last year's total allocation was about, with your 10% match, was about $375,000. It is down with your match this year will be about $322,000, which the actual allocation that you're getting from the state will be a little over $292,000, which was the last report I saw. I have not pulled the most recent report. I'm hoping, I was told it was going to stay the same, but then there was some discussion based on revenue that they was hoping to increase it. I don't think it would be any decrease, but they was hoping to actually maybe see some increase, but I don't think you're going to see it that increase.
Why was it decreased?
It's based on it's based on the Transportation Funding Act, and that money is based on yearly revenue, and it's a proportional amount of the revenue that was part of the House Bill 170 that was passed several years ago that was funded, and it's based on, I think there's 3 things. One of them was the sales tax, and that's based on the amount of fuel sold. And with all the vehicles that were parked this time, the sales tax on fuel was down drastically. There's not as much money there to actually allocate. So they basically project how much money they think will be in, and then they divide it amongst all the counties based on a formula. And that's where it comes from. So what I did then is we've looked around the county at a lot of different roads, and what we were trying to do is look at the last year, you may remember, we did Knox Mill. We finished up Knox Mill, the paved portion. Well, not we didn't finish. We went the last half of Knox Mill there. We did the first half the previous year, and because of this year, we had looked around at the routes that we could potentially make the most impact for, and looked at the routes that could probably use it the most. And you see there's a list there. Lance, you want me to go through each one of the
Unless the commissioner has a question or something, I'd say.
There's a list of what I've got proposed, and what I did is, these are not quotes. I just went to last year's LMIG bid and took what it was this year, because every part of the state is different. So I just pulled the straight bid that you got last year from your contractor, what it come to about a mile, and said that's hopefully what we could do this year. The way it's done is, most of these roads, if you add them, and then if the bids come in lower, then we could adjust and add more to it based on those same quantities. If it was to come in higher, then we could drop some of these off. If you'll notice, the third one there, the Thompson Pond, it is a lot longer than that, but I picked a breaking point that made sense, and we need to add funds. We can go more of Thompson Pond, or we can back up and knock that section of Thompson Pond off, or any of these based on what you want to do.
When do you need this in pretty quick, don't you? I mean,
It has to be in DOT. Traditionally, DOT's deadline is December 31st to have the application in. Because of COVID and all the problems that you're having this year, they actually changed the deadline for the application to February 1st. So traditionally, what has happened is y'all vote and approve it, and then I usually get with Miss Angie once we have an approval. We put together an application to DOT, we submit it to DOT online, and then they approve your application based on it meets the criteria of the LMIG application. And if anybody's ever interested, you go to Georgia DOT's website, local government, LMIG. They have the application process, the formula process, the whole 9 yards. If you're ever interested in some late night reading before you go to sleep, it's there. But then we will submit the application, and then it's approved locally in Tennille, then it goes to Atlanta, they sign off on it, then they will provide Miss Angie with the funds. You will actually get those funds deposited, and then we will put together a let package in the spring to let the contract. But we have to meet that deadline. The application package has to be in by the deadline. And traditionally, we try to do it November, December, but since DOT changed it, we're doing it December this year, and I can still get it in January to have it meet February 1st deadline by DOT.
All righty, we appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Any questions? Good? Okay.
With our current timeline that we're needing to get this in, I open the floor for a motion to approve the list put together by Mr. Brantley.
I make a motion to approve the proposed project.
Do I have a second?
Now, on this on Knoxville, is that the road that we talked about last meeting?
Yes,
The one
ma'am.
I brought up?
Yes, ma'am. That's putting the rock on Knox, the graded aggregate base on the Knox Mill Road where you're getting the column complaints.
Okay.
Do I have a second on the motion on the floor? I second the motion on the floor. Any, are you? Okay, I got a motion. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Alrighty. Next order of business before the board will be going through our balances and report for November.
And the financial report you have from TBS is for October. We haven't gotten our November statements yet, but I'll get that to you as soon as I can. That's October. But the balances are for November.
Can you read down our balances, Ms. Sandy?
In our general fund, we have $1,923,791.06. Our CD is $376,462.24. Our 2019 LD is $111,645.07. Our 2019 SLOSS is $185,386.02. Our convicts fund is $199,003.93. Our DARE is $52,261.69. Our drug seizure is $32,570.64. Our 911 is $225,200.80. Our jail fund is $41,669.34. Our landfill is $170.76, and our T-SPOS is $563,881.72.
All right, we don't have any questions over the balances of the report.
I have a question. When is the next, and it ties with this, when is the next crime victims board meeting? This money just sitting here, we're not doing anything.
That's a good question.
That's the chairman of the crime victim board right there. They can jump on him.
Actually, 6 or 8 weeks ago, Lance told me to try to convene a meeting, and we got started on it, and with everything going on, I think with the holidays, it fell by the wayside. Our struggle for years has been keeping this money within the borders of Treutlen County. And the struggle is not getting any easier for us.
Is the struggle with the referrals? What's the struggle?
We are supposed to spend that money to aid the victims of crime through state court.
Right.
Okay, well think about most crime. Most of the citations through state court come in the way of traffic tickets paid by folks outside Treutlen County. We have very little crime that occurs in Treutlen County that goes through the state court. So finding a nexus, finding a victim that we can spend that money on in Treutlen County can be a hard thing. Now, the easy thing we can do is we can turn the money over to the district attorney's office in Dublin. That's what many counties do. District attorneys say thank you, because most district attorneys use that as kind of a slush fund for their needs. We can also write a check to some of the different shelters around here. To be honest, some of them have plenty of money already. have a hard time sometimes even having someone to place in those houses or shelters.
You know what, the people, well, the money is supposed to be for the Treutlen County victims or whatever.
Yes,
But we had five agencies that was approved for money. Can we just think about start giving them something on a regular basis?
Five what?
5 agencies. I know
No, we looked at that too. In fact, we've been trying to get the Treutlen County EFAC's office directly involved in this because we're trying to find ways for them.
And
they are one of the ones that's approved for the thing.
Yes, ma'am.
I have reached out to Melissa over there. I've called her, left her voicemails, and even text messages, and I haven't gotten a call
In
back.
fact, we have given EFAC's money in the past and they haven't even spent it at times.
I've reached out to, Ms. Wright myself as well.
And we've got another one that was approved, which I think it was originally was Wings, but Wings does not service Treutlen County, the refuge does. Another agency that was brought to my attention that serves Treutlen County would be the Sunshine House. Now, they refuge.
And we have made financial support to both of those organizations in the past.
Could we just do something to get the money spent? Don't we give something?
We can give them the money. We can give them the money. I'm not sure it's the most effective use of that money. It's leaving the county. I'm not sure any Treutlen County people are ever going to benefit. But that's easy to do. We write a check for $200,000 to
I'm not saying that.
There's not a safe
I'm saying I never thought it would be so hard to spend money. Until you see the way this law is set up and how we're supposed to rightfully use it. I'll be honest with you, for years, we spent $10,000 a year for foster kids at Christmas time around here. I'm not exactly sure it was completely legal, but we did it. Those created problems of their own. We discontinued that.
I think what we need to do now is, we appointed a 5th person to that board, and I don't even know if we've had a meeting since then. I don't even remember who y'all, can you remember who we appointed?
Christina, right?
Yeah. So I think the thing to do is just kind of, this is the official call here from the Treutlen County Board of Commissioners to the Crime Victims Board. Let's have a meeting. Let's get outside the box. Let's think about somewhere utilizing this in Treutlen County.
How about we'll try to have a meeting before the end of the month?
You want me to still take your place on that board?
I would love for you to, if you want
Okay,
to.
I'll do that. Do we need to vote on that?
Yes.
I mean,
Because that board was created by resolution and always said the chairman of the commissioners. But you guys can change that. You can amend it to where the board may appoint any commissioner.
I open the floor for a motion for you to do that.
I make a motion to remove Chairman Phillips from the board and add Ms. Gillis.
Well, let's first
Well,
amend it
now
first.
that's great today. None of you were on this board.
No, I'm just saying, I'm not trying to change the way it's wrote. Future chairman can serve on this board, that's fine. I tried my shot at it. It's 4 years later, and some people are just now starting to talk to me again. So I would love for someone, I mean, and listen, as chairman, I sit on a lot of boards, and if someone else would love to step up and do that, I'm fine, as long as I am chairman of the board. I would love for Commissioner Gillis to be liaison, would that be the word?
You can't do that unless you want to change, if you want to amend your resolution on how the board is organized, and that's easy to do, we can do that right now. But you just say, we need to amend the resolution where instead of the chairman of the Treutlen County Board of Commissioners who serves on that board, we could say the Treutlen County Board of Commissioners shall select one of their own members to be on.
Or just say the chairman can appoint a certain member to.
However you all want to do it, but you need to change.
Let's just change it that where the chairman can appoint someone to
If that's
fill his
a motion, a
place.
second, and a vote, we can do it that way.
But we are amending the resolution. to
That's
say
the
that.
only way you can do this.
I make a motion to amend the resolution.
Any second?
I second that.
And we're making this resolution to allow the chairman to appoint another member of the board to fulfill their seat on the Crime Victim Board.
You're amending the resolution creating the Treutlen County Crime Victims Board, wherein the chairman of the Board of Commissioners shall appoint a member of the Board of Commissioners to serve on that board.
Yes.
I got a motion, I got a second. If there any further discussion, everyone in favor, vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
You wish to make an appointment?
I shall appoint Commissioner Gillis to serve as my tenure fulfill my tenure as member of the Crime Victim Board. All right, so that's all in the meetings and the minutes. All official, like. Any further questions about our balances and report? Glad we got off task and got that done. All right, without any further ado, we need the most important adjournment of the day.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We passed the LMIG and the dumps. I really think we should postpone this dumpster site workshop till we get this thing advertised and get it back, and we'll know what we're looking at. Well, we're gonna get the numbers back and sit down and have it, and then we're gonna advertise another hearing like we did in the past.
Time.
Huh?